Okay, this is the second half of my cause and effect video, which is basically a spiritual expression. It's not religious. And what you just saw at the beginning of this was a fractal. And fractals are expressions of vortexes. They are screens that change vortexes in certain ways and cause various things to happen that we don't quite understand in a lot of ways, but they're quite dynamic in their effects. So let's go on with this. First off, I want to say that start with the various planes. Crossing the astral plane barrier results in an explosion, and I went through this many years ago when I was in my 20s, and it's a disruption in the in your aura, and it's quite dynamic in its effect too. If you're not accompanied by a spiritual master, and you can be with some work, and I'll tell you about that. Each plane, and you will be you will be blown away by it, and I'll talk about that too. Each plane beyond this has its own signature, and there are almost not, but not quite infinite planes, but we only talk about up to about the 12th. Each one is more beautiful as you rise up, and above the fourth is you get into the pure spiritual planes, which I can't even describe because they're really indescribable. They're beyond time and space. And what I'm talking about here is really a science, not a religion, and you'll see why I'll tell you that also. Religions like Christian religion, where they talk about being born again, or African tribal religions where they do black magic, have similar psychic level experiences, and they can create this first explosion that I talk about. They are the beginning of the path to higher consciousness, really, and finally to God consciousness, events that occur once you enter the fifth plane. Above this, full awareness, this is the full awareness of God area, and it takes lifetimes to get here, for the most part. I mean, unless you find a master that can lead you there and teach the ropes to get there. And that can happen in one lifetime, or it can happen in 1,000. It doesn't matter to God how long it takes. It only matters that you get there, because time and space are really not real. So you ask, how do I find one? Well, there are masters on the web. There are websites on the web that tell you about it, or you can just ask openly, with your heart open and mind open, and one's going to come to you eventually. No matter what, spiritual ignorance, and I call it that because it really is, does not relieve you of any responsibility. You just keep on going on until you get there. Still, things occur beyond this physical plane, and they are reproducible, as I tell you here, despite the lack of awareness and interpretation often given them. Especially by religions. I am discussing a true science, even though every physical scientist in this mental realm will dispute my claims as outrageous, and they do. My father did it. He thought it was crazy. Everybody does it. Every one of these things is repeatable. That's what I tell you that often, and it's true. They always occur the same way, generally. Every one of us is different in how we see it. It's just like everyday experiences. If you see an accident occur, 30 people see an accident occur. They all see it in a different way. But basically they see the same accident. And that's exactly how this works. This is really no different. This is just the way it is, and always has been this way, and is always this way in all the universes. And I say all because there are all. That again is something that's disputed by scientists. When you attribute the results, the effects, to an incorrect cause, you simply miss out on the spiritual lesson, and you must repeat it until you get it correct. This is when you get it correct, you're into cause. You become a causal person. You don't burn in hell if you don't get it, and these lessons are hard to learn, as I talk about, for the most part, unless you're guided through them. And you're only here to learn these lessons despite what religions teach you. You're not here to learn, go to hell. You're not here to experience anything bad, really. But unless you get on the path, some path that gets you past this fifth plane, you're going to have to go through this stuff. You're going to have to go through a lot of pain. It's just the way it is. It has to work. No religion is totally accurate, and none of them are totally wrong, and they're all bound to their own illusions, and they're here for a reason. I'm going to talk about that. One way to express why you're here is you must eventually become cause, and become disinterested. Basically disinterested in effect, not cause. So, and I told you this earlier, in the first Star Wars movie, Yoda said, do. Then let it go and let the outcome happen. And that's what he was doing. The sound, it sounds easy, but it's not. It's easy, yeah, in a way, because you think about what he said, and it's really simple. But doing it is one thing, and talking about it's another. What you're doing is you're letting go of your mind, and mind is outcome based. All right, you're really causal based, but the mind is outcome based. So it wants to get to dwell on outcome, and that's why we get angry. That's why we become sad. That's why we do all the things that we do. And this idea is totally opposed to the concept of sin. First off, your heart must be open. You must be unencumbered. And you must act from the subconscious level, basically, which is something that means you got to let go of your mind, basically. And this is something that when I was talking about the scientists, they can't do that. They can't let go of their mind. Their mind is what they've been taught to do. So this is the most difficult lesson there is, and why you're here. This is all. As I said, it's also why religions exist. They're suited to each level of achievement on the spiritual ladder, and therefore there are all these religions that exist. And for that reason, all the religions are valid. No matter how dark they may appear to certain other religions, they're all valid. They all are here for a reason. And it's all to get you to this point where you can accept a spiritual master. There isn't any heaven and hell. You get to these higher planes and you're there. It's just it's a place of love. And it will never be destroyed, and your path will never be encumbered once you get to this fifth plane. You work as a co-worker to God after that, and your reason for existing after that is to help others achieve what you've achieved, because this is a ladder. It's you get on the ladder, you get it, they get it. and that's the reason. After you get to that level, your only reason for existing is as spirit or as soul, is to get these other people, these other souls, up there, and it's a lovely thing, but it sounds a little strange maybe to you. Life here on Earth is really hard, and the reason it's hard and all these things happen to you is to teach you how to do this. Now from there, let's go on to Eastern and Western religions. Again, I said neither one of them is more valuable than the other one. In certain ways, Christianity is very loving. But one of the things it does is it talks about being saved. I don't think Jesus ever taught being saved. And he went through his whole life without this whole concept. But the concept of karma, which is cause and effect, is real. You don't get rid of karma by being saved by somebody else. But the Eastern religions teach karma, which means that you accumulate points, so to speak. As my father used to talk about, Boy Scouts, credits and discredits. I don't remember how he used to say it, but you get these points, and you work them off. But they can all be thrown away by a spiritual master if that master deems it. If he sees where you can get rid of these points, these discredits or whatever they are, he can throw them out. It's not the same thing as being saved, because you don't get rid of all your points at one time ever. You're gonna have some more of them. You're gonna have to have some other things left there, and for you to be able to work. But still, again, that's all part of why you're here. And you look at the Old Testament Bible, and they talk about an eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, revenge, hateful kind of point of view. Really, the thing that Christianity brought with it was this idea of love and doing unto others as you would have them do unto you. Well, and that can go on too far. You can let too much doing unto others. You got to look out for yourself too at the same time. So turning the other cheek works for a while, but there's an end to it. And that's what Gnosticism brought to the church before 325, when the Romans took over, and unfortunately it was lost in that very that short period between Jesus' death and the Romans taking over the church, and those 325 years. They basically destroyed Gnosticism, which was a lot of what I'm talking about here. So my next topic is it good to live for long periods of time? Well, if you go back to the Old Testament Bible, in the flood, which happened way before most people assume, it was about, as I get it, 12,500 years ago. But that flood did occur, and those people that were living then lived for long periods of time, because they were on the water that was on earth at that time. Again, I talked to you about water in other tapes, other videos here. Water is key to everything. It can change your lifespan. It can change a lot of things. your cellular structure. Once you're fully hydrated, you got the opportunity to live, just like they talked about in the Bible. So the question is, why do you need a spiritual hierarchy, which I talk about, and a master? Well, you don't. You don't have to have that. You could do this on your own. And I got onto that through that first level, and actually got to the fifth plane on my own. Not on my own, but I just with reading about it, instead of actually having being in any particular path. And this is a spiritual soup that we live in. We kind of grab up on that soup and pull our little part out, and we go from there, and that leads to greater awareness and disruption of the karma. Okay, next topic is, and I kind of skipped that one, and that was is it good to live a long time? I talked about we can do that. The problem with living a long time is that you become very, very, very wise, okay? Wise, and also mentally strong. Your prowess becomes greater. And that can be a very bad thing. One of the things that if we only live to be 80 or something like that, or 90 years old, as most of us do today, we only get to a certain point and we die, and that's a good thing, because you can get to be dangerous to the population if you get to be 800 like they used to. So this was probably by design that we had the flood. I don't know that. I'm just guessing, but we have to be very careful if we get on my health stuff that I'm giving you on other videos, and you start to really accumulate knowledge and wellness. The next thing you got to make sure you do along with that is become spiritually aware and loving, because the two must go together. And that was really the point of this whole thing. You want to become cause and become less effect, and get a hold of your life. If you get to be 300 years old, you're going to be a pain in the neck for this population if you are affect and angry and out to get other people. That's my story today.